Because it was done to me, I guess, is the answer to that. Of course, the reality, as Leon Wieseltier pointed out, is that I am deeply, profoundly anti-Semitic, and that's what I really want. And the fact that Muslims do this just as often as Jews do, and that Americans and non-Jewish Americans do it, apparently is irrelevant too. But no, the real reason is quite simple. I don't like the fact that my body was permanently altered without my consent or knowledge. And when you actually take that principle and see it broadly, I think you begin to see that permanently clipping or eroding people's genitals when they are infants is barbaric. Now, we notice this particularly and obviously with women more than we do with men, and rightly, because the extent of clitoral excision, female genital mutilation, is far more drastic and awful than what is done to male foreskins. But the principle is the same, even though the effects are far worse. The principle is you have a right to your bodily integrity and for it not to be messed with without your consent. And I think that's true of children in what are regarded as non-essential health issues. Now, you can argue, and people will, that circumcision does seem to provide some broad protection, slightly more protection against HIV transmission in adulthood. Although that data is debatable to some extent, and the studies that show it are complicated and difficult. But let's concede that that is the case. Still, that wasn't the case for many years previously. And it certainly isn't the case that men could not decide if they really wanted to as adults to reduce their possible vulnerability to HIV, to have their bodies mutilated as adults. And certainly I would have no problem with people deciding to do so as a religious measure as adults. I do have a problem with it as children and as infants when it's unnecessary. Now, then I get all squishy because unlike some of my friends on the anti-circumcision front, I also do understand that it has a profound, not just a minor, but a profound religious significance for some groups. And therefore, because I'm a squish on religion, I would allow religious grounds to be invoked to ask for public funding of circumcision. And I think it should be granted automatically upon request of the parents on specifically religious grounds. But the general mass circumcision of boys for no reason than that it's always been done, or because you want to look like your dad. In my case, I didn't look like my dad. Seems crazy to me. And one of these crazy things about America, like the fact that no one in the capital city can vote, really, for Congress, or the thing that everybody smokes in this entire country has to be regarded as illegal. These crazy things that are just part of American society should be confronted from time to time and debated and talked about. And if not on the dish, where, you know? Who else is going to talk about willies?